just a suggestion. I do this every single day because as a mother of teenagers, as an entrepreneur, as a person who works full time, I am constantly met with stressful scenarios every single day. And I say to myself, what I focus on grows, my focus is my power.
Yes.
And then I move forward and I shift my thoughts. I actually say it, sometimes out loud if I'm by myself, but I say it in my head. I have to actually manually say that because our brain does not have its own compass. Our spirit is what guides it. Our brain is just like, kind of like ChatGPT, like ones and zeros. It's like, hey, you want to think about this? You want to think about that? But you get to decide. Your focus is your power. So let's go down memory lane. Okay, we're going back in the time machine. Back in the time machine, we're going to 1993. There I am, amongst 4 brothers. My little sister wasn't born yet. My parents are lovely people. My dad was a janitor for the first 10 years of our family life, and then he joined the construction industry. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, super accomplished, but she decided to stay at home. I'm so thankful for it. But needless to say, we were poor. We were very poor. And I just remember being this age and discovering that we were poor. Because you don't know that you're poor until you need something basic that you can't get. And so I remember one day I asked for new church shoes. The church shoes I had used to be white. They were tan. They were beat up. They were holey. They were bad. And I saw these church shoes and I said, Dad, can I have $24? I saw these church shoes and I look at the ones I have. And he hung his head low and I could tell I may as well have asked him for $1 million. And he said, I don't have it. But you know what? I have $4 and we can buy 24 cupcakes. And if you sell all of them for $1, you can get those shoes. And I sprung up and I sold every cupcake. I hustled all day the next day. And I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood for 24 hours. Everyone was coming to our house. And so that brings us to the blame or reframe concept, because there are only 2 characters you can play in the movie of your life: the victim or the victor. There are no other characters available. You can either blame people, circumstances, or you can reframe and find out, how can I shift my perspective of what happened to me to empower me? So here's the blame. Why was I born into a poor family? Why did I have to ask for new shoes? Shouldn't they have just replaced them? Why did I have to work at 7 for new shoes? Then I decided to reframe it. Now, I didn't reframe it right away because for a long time, I blamed. I felt like this is why I am not at a higher level in life, because I was born poor, because I had a big family and I didn't get enough attention. Because. I decided to reframe. Dad's paying all the bills. I have everything I need. He taught me how to sell. Taught me customer service. Taught me how to be resourceful. And that helped me understand that everything happens for me and not to me. Everything happens for you and not to you. Picture of me at 19. There's a lot of pain behind that smile. A 1-year-old, 2-year-old, and I was having the hardest time of my life. So we're gonna go deeper with the blame or reframe, because that was cute, the shoes, the church shoes, but let's get real. Life is hard. And at this time, I was married. I was married to an abusive man. I'm a domestic abuse survivor. I didn't have any direction. I was living on welfare. And I pretty much thought that that was the best it was gonna get for me. At that time, this picture, if you had talked to me then. So we're gonna play another game, another round of blame or reframe. So I'm like, okay, I'm in this toxic abusive marriage. I don't have enough money. I wanna further my education. I don't know where to start. I loved writing stories, always loved writing stories. Didn't have the time, I thought. And then I reframed once I came to the end of myself. And it's different for everyone. It's different for everyone. It happens at a different age, it happens at a different time, different triggers. And then I realized my children inspire me. I can use this to now that they're here, I can use their presence to inspire me to be better. I can get divorced. I am not a hostage. I can get divorced. I can get a better job. I can go back to school. I can write while my children take naps. And that's what changed everything, that reframe. But I want to touch on this. I want to park here for a moment and just remind you all that love doesn't hurt. If someone loves you and they hurt you, they're lying. Love doesn't hurt. If someone loves you and they cause you pain, and I'm not talking about disagreement on if we want to go to Chick-fil-A or Raising Cane's. I'm not talking about who's doing the dishes and getting in a tiff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about abuse. If someone abuses you and they say they love you, that's manipulation. Love encourages. Love believes. Love is faithful. Love is kind. Love doesn't gaslight. Love loves. So I went back to school. I got divorced. I started writing again, and I reclaimed my life. So that brings us to the 4 acts of life. Because I realized in all of this soul searching that you must do when writing a memoir. When I was halfway through writing it, I was like, ooh, I think I made a wrong decision. I don't know if I'm ready to tell this story. No one's forcing me to. Why did I do this? But in unpacking, I realized that there's something called the 4 acts of life. And the wonderful thing about the 4 acts of life is that they're not restricted by a time frame or an age. You get to the next act when you graduate from the previous act. You don't want to stay in Act 1, which is learning who you are and how to love yourself. And that's represented also by the people in your life. Getting back to love doesn't hurt. Who you are and how to love yourself. Second act, building a strong work ethic, good character, and finding your purpose. And there are remnants of acts and other acts, but we're talking about our focus. You don't want to stay here. This is a great act to be in. If you are here, amazing. If you're at the first one, can't start any lower than 1. Third act, serving others through your purpose. Now you have your gift, because that takes a while. It takes a while to learn what in the heck you want to do with your life. Serving others, and that's your focus. Fourth act, giving, helping others get through acts 1 through 3. Now you are a sage in the community. And you can be any age, right? There are some entrepreneurs out there, there are some people that have really soared, they've done the work, and they're now 28 years old, and people are flying them out to help them get through acts 1 through 3. So there's no age to this. But you gotta do the work. And so in the first act, you can ask yourself, if that's where you are, what are your standards? Because we don't get our wishes, but we always meet our own personal standards. So if you want to change, you must raise your standards. Second act, how do you show up? How do you show up? Do you work like you would want someone to work for you? Can you imagine, you're moving out of your house, someone says, I'm gonna help you, and they're just bringing down spoons and forks. You're like, if you don't pick up a box, right? Do you work like you would want someone to work for you? Are you making an impact where you are? Because that's important. Sometimes you can feel like, oh, this job, you know, it's draining, it's taking my energy, it's not paying me enough. But the thing is that how you show up is a representation of who you are. And you gotta represent every day, because who you are is powerful. And there's a compound effect. And when people see your value, they're naturally going to promote you in their mind, and then it happens in the physical world. But you have to take it one day at a time. I remember I asked my dad, how did you quit smoking cigarettes? My dad smoked cigarettes for like 15 years. And one day I said, how in the world? It's so hard for people to quit, and I've never seen him smoke a cigarette in my life. He stopped smoking before he and my mom got married. And he said, you know what, here's what I told myself. I said, I'm not smoking a cigarette today, but I'll have one tomorrow. And he said that every day. I'll have one tomorrow. Just take it one day at a time. This is a marathon. It's a marathon. Rome wasn't built in a day. Work ethic, good character, finding your purpose. But the fastest way, in my opinion, to find your purpose is to do things that aren't your purpose. You don't know that in the beginning, but you just have to try things. Go to the class, join the seminar, go to a restaurant and strike up random conversation with someone. Join a Toastmasters. Do things, get out of your comfort zone, and you'll find what makes your heart sing. Something that you would do for free, but you gladly accept the paycheck. One of my favorite quotes is that we're all born twice. Once when we're born, and second when we find out why. It's a beautiful thing, finding your purpose. It takes time. I remember growing up, I just knew I was going to be a singer. I knew I was going to be a world-renowned singer. And then I got on stage a couple of times, it wiped me out. I said, I don't want to do that. I thought I was going to be an actress. I thought I was going to be a movie star. I went to an acting academy, graduated, did a couple of gigs, and I realized that wasn't for me. Just got to try things. Third act. What are 3 ways you want to be described by your friends and family? They're sitting around the fireplace. Your name comes up. What do you want them to say? And shape your actions around that outcome, that result. These people represent folks that got to the 4th act, where their gift is a gift to us. Sam Walton on the left, he founded Walmart. I beg to say that we all benefit from having Walmart. Steve Jobs, I love my iPhone. Denzel Washington, incredible actor. Their gift blesses us. Can you imagine? Someone is gifted $1,000 and they give you $500. Their gift gifted you. That's what's the beautiful thing about finding your purpose. But we're gonna go more local. Tanya, your gift is a gift to us. You have Professor Scott, Dr. Linda Woods, Professor Dawn, people that are serving, giving. Their gift is a gift. They have all the way graduated. They have done the work. Success leaves clues. Think of a giver in your life. Think of a giver that you know of. They don't have to be in your interpersonal life. Success leaves clues. And you say, oh, Maria, okay, I know my gift. I know my gift, but I don't have time because I have a job and kids and things like that. But don't forget that your day job funds your dream job. I turned my memoir into an Audible book, and I paid for it with money I saved from my full-time job. Invest in your dream with your day job. You gotta practice the double NS, the next necessary step. Don't worry about step 10 when you're at step 2. It's good to have a plan, good, better, best? It's best to execute today. What do you need to do today to move the dial forward? The next necessary step, I call it double an S. Fourth act, helping others learn what you know for sure. This is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. Because that's what life is all about. It's like a tree saying, I don't want to decompose and turn into, I don't want to be a part of the life cycle. That's what life is all about. It's a cyclical thing. And when you go about it with purpose, on purpose, that is what will happen. That is the ultimate. That is the pinnacle. Truly being in a posture of giving. Think about it. Think about the folks, the friends, the public figures. Not everybody has someone in their immediate family that shows them the way of how to be a giver. But that's okay. In this day and age, 2025, if you don't have a mentor in your personal life, find a mentor. My mentors, when I first started on my personal growth journey, were Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Jim Rohn, people I don't know, but somehow they knew me when I listened to them, and they helped me improve my life. These are my parents, Judith and Sam, been married 43 years. They're givers. They're givers. They left some clues. Very thankful for them. Here's some other givers that inspire me. I encourage you. I put their names here. I put their names there last minute. I realized, I said, not everybody has the facial recognition for who they are. Look up these people. They left clues. Success leaves clues. Well, let's get back to you. Because I said congratulations at the beginning of our time together for a reason. You are a phoenix. You rose from the ashes, and you will continue to rise from the ashes. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. You're here because you see that next level within your reach, and so you are constantly looking for ways to pour into yourself so that you can continue to show up. You are a phoenix. Don't ever forget that. And when it comes to the things that you've been through that bring you down, because we all have down days, right? And our brain just starts going through those Rolodex of everything we've been through. But if it made you stronger, it was a good thing. If it made you wiser, it was a good thing. If it helped you appreciate life more, it was a good thing. If it helped you relate to others who are hurting, it was a good thing. Nothing's wasted. Nothing's wasted. So we're going to do a little exercise. Coming into time together. I have a pen here. So I encourage you to grab a pen. There's a pen at the table. There's a pen at these tables. And if you don't have a pen, that is okay. Just imagine that a pen is in your hand. Pen. Yes. Call this the pen exercise. So imagine that this is a supernatural pen. Supernatural. Everything that you write down is true. So where do you live? You pull up to the ATM. You type in your code. How much money is in that account? You drive back down the road to your house. What kind of car are you driving? Everything you write down comes true. You're having dinner tonight with friends. Who are your friends? Your family. How are they feeling? Where do they live? Who are you supporting? You want to give back philanthropically. Who are you helping? Who are you writing that $5 million check to? I want you to realize something. You don't need a supernatural pen to do those things. You have the power. You have the power to accomplish everything that you were created to do with what you have right now in your life, in your mind, in your heart. Because this picture of seeds, this is us. This is us. These seeds have everything that they need to accomplish, to fulfill everything that is within their potential. But that's why environment matters. Who we have in our life matters. Where this seed is planted matters. Watering it, sunshine, the light matters. Positivity is how we get light. We can live without the sun, but we need that positivity as ourselves. We need that. So, what I want to remind you all of as we think about our journey to greatness, as we think about owning our story, leading our future, that you were meant for greatness. That there is not one person watching, one person with me here, one person on this planet that wasn't meant for greatness. That wasn't meant for greatness. So says the manufacturer. You want to know who that manufacturer is? Send me a DM. You're meant for greatness. And you look at your thumbprint. Your thumbprint here is proof that you were meant for greatness. Because you were created to make your mark. No one has your print. You're unique. You're created on purpose, for a purpose, to become all you were created to be. I believe in you, and moreover, your next level. That person 5 years from now that you saw in that slide earlier, they believe in you too. They're saying, you got this. Please, stick with it. Stay with the program. So I asked you earlier, what's the plot twist? What's the plot twist? And that's what I asked myself. And my plot twist was, I was playing a character in a movie I didn't need to be in. Are you playing a role in a movie that you aren't supposed to be in? A bad movie that you would never watch, that you wouldn't recommend. Get out of those movies. That's what was my plot twist. Because you are the hero. You are the hero of your story. You are the director. You are the producer. You are the casting director. You get to choose who's in your life. And you are the hero. Thank you so much. That's my time.